I'll be playing Concertino da Camera, and that's the whole second movement. The fast one too. Should I just play all of it?
Great, really excellent job. What is your name?
Ismael?
Ismael?
Yeah.
Ismael? My name is Dr. Pique. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to
So, how did you feel about that, about what you just played?
I thought it went okay. There's some spots where I kind of flubbed a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
A couple spots, that happens, that's live performance. And I personally felt like you played really, really, really well, really strongly. I felt like your playing really shined, but the biggest thing, I think from the first moment that you walked out, it was a good execution, good ideas, but it wasn't a complete performance. So what is the first sound that people hear right before you play? Breathing, right? So from that very first breath, and even from before the breath, so this is actually a trick question. What's the very first thing that people hear before you play? Before you played, when you walked out? I will remind you. So, right. So you walked out, and then what do you do when people are clapping? We bow, right? So I'll give you one more shot at this. So what I want you to do is, people are going to start judging you before they hear you play the saxophone, based on how you walk, based on how you speak, based on how you interact with an audience. It's a two-way street, right? You're not in a practice room. Yeah. I know sometimes we all wish we were in practice rooms, but so maybe that's just me. But when you walk out, I want you to own the stage, right? So walk quickly. You're going to acknowledge that everyone's here. You're going to bow, right? And then you're going to introduce yourself. Hi, my name is Ismael. I'm going to be performing Ibert Concertino to the camera. All right, here we go. Give us one more try. One more try right from the beginning. So walk off stage, yes. And everybody clap. There we go. Quickly. Good. And is this your audience?
No,
Can you bow towards us instead of bowing to the thank you, Ibert, for this music? No, try one more time. And when you bow, actually, can you sit in the audience?
Sure.
Here we go. I'm going to play Ibert with no saxophone. All right, everyone clap. All right, your turn.
Do I do it again?
Yes. This is important. Yes. Oh, and I love the smile. I could tell you were having fun, and we're having fun. And that's the big thing. And then when you speak, did you rehearse what you were going to say today?
No, because I didn't know how we were going to do Masterclass.
Yeah, and it's always, so when you're in a situation like that, always prepare for everything, okay. Right? And I think in general in a masterclass, it's generally okay to speak. It's your masterclass, so you can treat this like a performance. And then I'm just here to kind of steer you in the right direction, because you've done a lot of the work already, and it's really, really excellent. So we can actually dive in now into some of the playing. But keep in mind that it's not just how you play, that's the performance. It's the whole show, right? All right. Can we talk first about your character for this piece? How would you describe what you want to come out? Like what, if you give me some adjectives about this second movement.
For the first part?
Yeah, the first part. Yeah, usually we'll just call this the second movement for Eason, and then we'll call this the third movement. Okay. But technically there's only two movements, but we all know, all saxophonists know, that's the third movement. So second movement, tell me what your character is. Like, what are you going for?
I mean, for this, the first time I played this, I felt this as, this would be like, kind of gloomy.
Gloomy?
Yeah. Maybe, sound like gloomy.
Yeah. So did you feel like that came across in your playing?
At least probably this first half of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I would agree. I think I got that. I really had to listen, so can you try and make it more obvious what you're trying to do with your character? So you're going for gloomy. Can we try this, right? Try this beginning, and then when you play that second iteration, be-da, be-da, make it spooky. Take your time. Good. I'll stop you there. I personally like that a lot better. This intro was so much more dramatic. And one other thing, I'm going to keep coming back to this, because like I said, I love your saxophone playing. You have a great sound. I love your vibrato. I love a lot of decisions you make musically. But it's not the whole performance. So try that beginning one more time, and can you show us Gloomy? Question. What did you do right before you played with your eyes? Yeah. Did you look around though? Yeah, you looked up and it's like, I'm gloomy, but also I'm looking at everybody judging me, right? And so it's your eyes tell a big story. So what I would do is maybe try closing your eyes, or be more introspective. Like if you want to be gloomy, if you want to be like introspective and meditative, almost like kind of insular, I would show that too, right? Try one more time. And this is difficult. All right, I'm going to watch. And stand still, perfectly still. Don't move. Don't move. Yeah, and just from those two notes, does that feel different? See everybody nodding their head? Yeah, so pro tip, it's you play so well, and now it's like putting the whole thing together, right? That you're a performer. You're not just a saxophonist or a musician, you're a performer. All right, next thing, we can talk about some actual like saxophony stuff now. Can I hear this interval? Let's start from 24. Good. Yeah, you hear that? Do you know why that's happening?
Finger placement?
Yes, it's a figuring issue. I think some people will say that's a voicing thing, like, oh, you're not voicing it correctly. I'm almost 100% sure that it is a finger issue. So try this. Can you put a G natural in there? B, ya, do. Yeah. Good. And can you make that G a gray sound? Mi, do. Good. Now can you think that and put that in this line? Ba, da, 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 ba, da, da, da. And it's okay if I hear it? Yeah, try it one more time. Yes, can you try one more thing? Can you play a middle D and trill your G sharp key? Okay, I was checking if it was leaking. It's not leaking. So it's just you. Try one more time, same thing.
Oh, wait, I don't recall.
Good. Can we try it once where you actually go B, A, D, do like a scale down? B, Leo. Yeah, no G sharp in that scale. Can I hear, yes, that's what I want to hear. One more time. Mm-hmm. Can I hear a C major scale starting on B, ending on D? Good. Can you get it faster? And can you keep your air moving all the way through that? There we go. And even faster if you can. Can we get B, blah, B, blue, B, and then loop that? B, blue. Faster. B, even faster if you can. Good. Can I hear B, blah, as fast as you can to get down to that D? Good. Not with your air. Just yes, that. Perfect. One more time. Good. Keep going. I just want to keep it. There we go. Keep the air going. Keep the air going. Good. So the reason that we're doing this is to train our fingers. The reason that interval doesn't speak is because one of your fingers is late in the order. So if we think about going from B to D, going this, and something's happening. If I was doing this in slow motion and really exaggerate, it'd be like something like this is happening. So when we trick our mind basically to put that scale down, can you try this in context and think? Actually, just try the and as quick as you can. Yeah, I still want to hear the Yep. Mm-hmm. One more time. One more time. Keep looping. Even. Good. Can we try that in context now? And even if I still hear that, that's okay, because this is how we get rid of the like slight finger timing issues that creates that sound. Every saxophonist's favorite. Yeah. So and you actually you jumped a step, because I would, if I was practicing this, I would still do the until I got tired of it and quit the saxophone. But no, I would do it like ad nauseum, and then like maybe a couple weeks before the concert, then that's when you can think that, and then what'll happen is basically you just trick your fingers into moving in the right order, so that you avoid the, God, I love that sound, honestly. It's great. Okay, next thing. Rhythm. Yeah. Tell me, there's some choices that you made that I really liked, and there's some choices that I had some questions about. Not that I didn't like them, but I was wondering, so you held on to certain notes in certain places? Yeah. Yeah, like you held on to the ba-dee, you really, really lingered. Why?
For this?
Yeah, for that one. I think that one in particular, that one stood out to me as being like a little out of the character you described, like gloomy.
Oh, it's because I like listening to recordings.
No.
And one of the recordings I really liked was Arno Bornkamp's recording of this.
Yes.
And he switches it.
He did. Yes. Arno, he is dramatic, and I appreciate the drama because this piece is dramatic, but is his recording where you got the idea of gloomy from?
Yes. Okay.
I think then if you wanted to play that much, there has to be more, you have to convince me of it. Because right now I really like that recording. I met Arno once, he's awesome. He's a big fan. But what I'm hearing from you is a copy of a copy, right? Because, Arno probably got that from somewhere. He might have listened to some other string recording, and then you're listening to Arno, and then it's kind of like something's lost in translation, so it's not quite working for me in terms of that character of gloomy. So let's go from... no, let's just go back to the beginning and see what you can do. So what will make this work is elsewhere in here, see if you can prepare us for that moment. All right, so don't let this be the first moment that we hear. All right, let's try it. Freeze. And yeah, you conduct yourself. Like, no need. Deep breath. Beautiful. Close your eyes. See what happens. Beautiful. Stay gloomy. Lots of vibrato. Hesitate. Yes. Big here. More. Big. Vibrato. Good. Yeah. That worked. How did that feel? Did that feel different at all? Yeah. Yeah. Felt a lot different. There's only one moment when I gasped. Right? Do you know why I gasped? Do you have a guess? Because everything was I was so into it. You had me eating out of the palm of your hand, and there's one thing that was like, the breathing spot? Yes. Yeah, that release. I didn't feel like you quite ended it. I'll give you another shot at it. So yeah, I think bigger here. It's a low B flat. Might as well make it pretty instead of like quiet. So try it from here. I think you're breathing here, right? Yeah. So start at the C sharp. When you get to here, the most beautiful release. I don't want to know when that note stops. All right. There we go. Big. Keep going. You'll get that. It's homework. Sorry, I messed you up by telling you it's homework. Yeah. That beginning felt so much better. Does that feel better? Yeah. And that makes all the difference. All right. So this section, flawless. Love it. Like I said, this is homework. You'll figure that out. I had some other things written. Oh, yes. 25. The other thing, going back to this idea of a performance, when you play this, so this release I think was nice. This rest was not nice.
Yeah.
Do you know, what did I hear in the rest? Do you know?
The beating was too loud, or was it that there wasn't enough of a rest?
There was something that happened in the rest that pulled me out of it again, because everything we're trying to do is like create this story, create this character, create a mood, try and convey something, right? Anything that snaps me out of things, you go, oh, he's playing saxophone, is something that's worth like looking at a little bit closer. So in this rest, it was, the movement doesn't bother me so much, but what I heard was click, right? Like in that rest, it was a moment where we were like resting, and then you snap me out of it by going, by putting your fingers down like really, really loud. So see if you can start from here. And then slowly press those keys for that F sharp, so we don't notice that you're like playing the saxophone, right? Beautiful. Yes. Yeah, and you did it a couple more times. If you do it a couple more times, it'll be a piece of cake. Does that make a difference in terms of feel different than how you played it before? Yeah, so for a second you let your guard down on that rest. You're like, oh, finally I can breathe. No. There's no, yes, there is a physical breath, but a rhetorical breath, there is not, right? That music's still going, so still be in character, right? How am I doing on time?
We're good. We can stop there if you want.
Okay. I think I had one more thing. And my score just left me. Hang on. Oh my God. There. Yes, last thing. What do you look at when you're performing?
Like, in general?
In general, yes. Yeah, there's like a tier, like you probably spend like 95% of the time looking at the music, but that other 5%.
Just at the audience?
At the audience, when you look at an audience, are you looking at individual people?
No.
Are you sure?
Sometimes.
So it felt like that, and kind of like unwanted eye contact can be like very uncomfortable, right? So what I would do is I'd actually recommend looking kind of off in the rhetorical distance, right? Especially if you want to go for that character of like, something's ending. See how, I don't know if you can see it, but I'm like looking kind of not at anybody in particular, and no one feels like uncomfortable, like, oh, right? No one's spooked. And I think closing your eyes is an option too. That's something that I like to do. That's a habit that I know I have, sometimes maybe too much. But like when I really am thinking and when I'm really like going for that moment of introspection, of, solemnness, I mean, it can be a lot of different things. You know this music. You could probably play this from memory if you tried. Like at least like 80 or 90% of it, I think. So don't be afraid to enjoy that moment, in public. It can be kind of vulnerable to be like, standing here with your eyes closed, but I encourage you, for you specifically, that you like to look around, and like I like that, but I think giving you some more options, basically, to interact with an audience, to interact with the music, to visually show us like what you've done so beautifully with your music. So thank you so much.
Okay, Ismael?
Yeah?
I'm Bob Eason. Nice to meet you. Okay, you have a beautiful sound. I think all the things that Dr. Pique was working on you with at the opening of this is spot on, okay? I wanted to talk a little bit about the from 28 on, rehearsal 28 on. So why don't you take it from here one more time, and we won't get very far. I'll probably stop you around here. Okay, no, that's good. So when you're working on really technical things like this, how do you practice it?
Slow it down and then speed it up gradually.
Okay. What else? That's absolutely step one, right?
Articulation.
What about it?
It's finding where to articulate da 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 da. So like finding where to.
So just paying really particular attention to the articulation? Yeah, absolutely. You know, with this piece in particular, and really anything we have that is kind of digital in nature, where we have, you know, to move our fingers in these patterns in a really precise kind of way, I find that using practice rhythms are like the absolute best thing you can do in terms of like, you know, what you're spending your time on. Have you ever used any kind of practice rhythms or altered rhythms?
Well, technically, yeah, I was on Crescent, and we would do where kind of like swing it, and then we would reverse it.
Right. Yeah, that's absolutely it. So I have, you know, really vivid memories of myself spending so much time on all these technical passages with that in mind. So if that's something that you haven't done with this, I would say absolutely do it. A lot of this, you know, it's like in D flat major with these like, you know, thirds and fourths and fifths and these awkward jumps up and down, you know, da da dee da 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 dee da da da, all these things. Altered rhythms or practice rhythms are going to be your best friend. Okay, could we try that from right here at the beginning? So let's do. You mentioned kind of the swing and then the inverted version of that. Let's do. Let's think about groups of two, and we'll do the swing one, which is kind of a long, short, long, short, long. Beat-om, beat-om, beat-om. So this is the eighth note. Beat-om, beat-om, beat-om. Okay, good. So I think you can make a more clear articulation, just with the clarity of the tongue and just a little bit more air pressure behind. So rather than ta. Can you say t? Okay, so try from here one more time. Da-dee-ya, or da-dee-ya-dee-ya-dee. Sorry, I sang the wrong one. So da-da-da-da-ee-ta-ee-ta. Okay, but so now try to exaggerate and make it, rather than a swing rhythm, make it more like a grace note. Ba-bum, be-dum, be-um, be-um. But the articulated notes are the G flat, F, E flat. Ta-ti-ya-ta-ta. Right. So trying to have all these, you know, really perfect details at the slow altered rhythms will make it so much kind of at your fingertips when you want to play what's written, right? So let's just look at these two bars. These are kind of the most challenging, I think, in the opening. So let's start here. Dee-ya-dee-ya-dee-ya-da. Okay, good. So I think we get the most out of this exercise if you push that short note and compress it as much as you can. So bum ba-dee ba-da ba-dee ba-dum. Let's just work on these two bars because that's kind of awkward with the time. Da-dee ba-dum da-dum da-dee da-dee da-da da-dee da. Yeah, but I want you to keep your air really consistent. The kind of natural thing is when we do anything like this, the air wants to like really do that shorter note, but try to go boom, buddy, 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 and keep your air really smooth. Okay. That's good. It still sounds kind of the triply boom, bobby, but remember boom. Buddy, ba-dum, buddy, ba-dum. Yeah, so I'm talking about going bum, buddy, ba-dum, ba-dum, ba-dum. That's the thing, but I want you to take that short note and just really, so it's really more like a triple dotted, you know, eighth note followed by like a 64th note. Bum, ba-dim, ba-dum, ba-dim, ba-dum. try saying bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. You have to like wait on that long note a long time. Bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. So what we're trying to do with this exercise, and why I keep trying to get Ismael to push that, to like wait longer on that last note, is because ultimately this goes really fast. And what we're trying to train our fingers to do is to move from note to note really quickly. And so even though our tempo is really slow, we still want to try to find the way that our fingers can go, ba-dum, because when it goes, our fingers have to be able to move in that really precise, like agile way. Okay, so I'll spend just a few more minutes on it, but let's try from here one more time. I want you to say this. Bum, ba-ding, ba-dum, 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 ba-ding, ba-dum. Try it. Wait longer. Bum, ba-dum, 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 ba-ding, ba-dum. Aha. Oh. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I think you will make the most progress with technique writ large. It's being able to separate the tempo from the speed. Those are different things, right? Our fingers are almost always going to open and close the keys very, very fast. Like if our fingers move slowly, we hear that in the sound. We hear the note go da. You know, on some like, you know, teeny tiny level, if we were to like zoom in really, really close to the audio, like the sound of the key makes, like the key closes, has a sound to it, right? And so we want to move our fingers very fast from open to close and from close to open. So let's try the same kind of idea, but a totally different exercise. Let's go very slowly. Ba-dum, ba-do-dee-da. Slow, tempo, very fast fingers. Okay. Better. What I want you to listen for is a couple of things. The caveat to all of this is you want to move your fingers as fast as possible, as late as possible, but with no key noise. Right? On the saxophone, if we put too much pressure behind our fingers, the saxophone makes a sound, right? Can you give us the sound of a key click? Yeah. And so, in some pieces, that's a whole thing into its own. In this piece, we don't want to hear it at all, right? So, one more time, very slowly. As fast as you can move your fingers with no key noise. Yeah, beautiful. Now, with the articulation we have, these groups of two, da da ti da ta da ti da ta da ti da ta da ti da ta da ta da ta, bring out that. So a little bit more air pressure behind the tongue on ta da ti da ta da ti da ta. I think that's where the energy from this really comes from. Yeah, absolutely. So go back to the very beginning. Ta ti ya ti ya, and every articulation like that, bring out that slur two, slur two. Yeah, that sounds great. I think if you, I meant to ask earlier, how long have you been working on this piece?
2 months.
Okay, honestly, man, that's a fantastic start. 2 months on this piece. Gabe, how long have you been working on this piece?
10 years.
At least. For me, easily, we never stop really working on these things. Okay, so the clarity that you just played with is exactly how it should sound. Okay, and I think the next step is just to really get in your ear what it sounds like to have the clarity of rhythm, the immediacy of the articulation, just like the sound of the airstream moving, and just apply that to everything. Okay, that sounds great. I think if you can keep that standard as you work up the tempo, then it's going to be just amazing. Okay? Great job.